What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to a very, very quick, unfiltered podcast from myself. Now, yesterday on a live stream, I was speaking about how Nigel Farage really isn't for the people. Because now we have Keir Starmer saying that he is going to be doing these deportations. He's going to be making sure that the immigration rates are a lot lower than what they are. And instead of saying, okay, cool, you sideswipe me, you kick the ball firmly into my court, so now I've got to do something. Instead of saying, okay, I will hold your feet to the fire, I will show every single thing you're not doing, but I will back doing what you're doing, because a little bit of something is much better than doing a whole heap of nothing. But it's getting lost in translation. People still generally believe that Nigel Farage is there for the people. So if we just put a little timeline of things together, you'll be able to see what I see. You should be able to see what everyone else is seeing, and you should understand this is why the media is giving us so many different media. So we stop thinking of the timeline and we only think of the matter. So let's go straight back into it now. So we're going to start off with this.
Migration is part of Britain's national story. We talked last week about the great rebuilding of this country after the war. Migrants were part of that, and they make a massive contribution today, and you will never hear me denigrate that. But when people come to our country, they should also commit to integration, to learning our language, and our system should actively distinguish between those that do and those that don't.
So straight away there, he's doing exactly what Nigel Farage has been saying. He's doing what we've all been saying, because this is a basic necessity of a country. This is what every country around the world should be doing, unless they're a communist country. So there's nothing really that you can't get behind.
I think that's fair. Equally, Britain must compete for the best talent in the world, in science, in technology, in healthcare. You can't simply pull up a drawbridge, let nobody in, and think that's an economy that would work.
Now that's where he differs, because I do believe that we've put up a drawbridge very much and only taking the slight amount of people that we might potentially need. That is going to be much better than what he wants to do and keep the drawbridge open, but to skilled migrants and all this type of stuff, because we are still having the same situations. But let's just carry on, because this is where he can differ. Starmer will differ from anybody on the nationalist side.
Would hurt the pay packets of working people without question. But at the same time, we do have to ask why parts of our economy seem almost addicted to importing cheap labour.
Again, that's a point that we all say. So I'm not agreeing with Starmer, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not agreeing with it, but he's talking the same language as the majority of people. He's not going to do what we want, or if he does, he's going to be very low. But we need somebody to start kicking the ball in our direction.
And investing in the skills of people who are here and want a good job in their community. Sectors like engineering, where visas have rocketed while apprenticeships have plummeted.
Right, that's important. Remember that.
Is that fair to Britain? Is that fair to young people, weighing up their future to miss out on those apprentices? To see colleges in their community almost entirely dedicated to one-year courses for overseas students?
Exactly. Is that fair? It's not. We've got to start putting our children's future first. We've got to understand, right? Not everyone's an academic. Not everyone wants to go to university and have so many thousands of pounds worth of debt, come out as a graduate and not be able to get a job. People want to do the apprenticeships. People would rather do it at 15 years old. Have a 1 year getting into an apprenticeship. This is what you need to do. Build up the foundations of what they need. Make sure that when they do start the apprenticeship, they're in a good position, and then let them work through it, and then let them be it. Because he's trying to say that you can't be an engineer if you're on an apprenticeship, or you can't do X, Y, and Z if you haven't been to university. That's hogwash. That is just for the birds, right? So this is what we need to do, and we need to start investing in our children's future. And how to do that is to get the £9 billion that we're giving to the people, putting them in the hotels and giving them bed and breakfast and everything else that we're giving them. including electric bikes, driving licenses, and all sorts of stuff, and give it to the children's future. 9 billion a year. I'm happy. I'll be happy. I'll be happy that this money is not being saved, but it's being invested. That's a very good one. This is where we differ from Starmer. But do we differ from Farage? Let's wait and see.
No, I don't think that it is. And truth be told, I don't think anybody does. Yet that is the Britain this broken system has created. So as this white paper sets out, every area of the immigration system, work, family and study, will be tightened up so we have more control. Skill requirements raised to degree level. English language requirements across all routes, including for dependent. The time it takes to acquire settled status extended from 5 years to 10. And enforcement tougher than ever, because fair rules must be followed. Now, make no mistake, this plan means migration will fall. That's a promise.
Right, so that's not really much of a promise. It's not going to make it fall because it's still allowing in the hundreds of thousands of people who are going to be coming in as a skilled worker. Or it's like the H1B1 in America. It didn't stop the immigrants. It's kind of enhanced it because now they're saying, well, you know what? We need 30,000 people in this sector. We need 20,000 people in this sector. And people are just using the requirements. And, you know, even if they are using false qualifications, like what we've seen from Nigeria and all over the Congo and these places where they've been giving false certificates of nursing. So they're coming here on a nursing visa to work in the NHS, but they've not got the qualifications that they're claiming. So that's putting our people at risk. Anyway, that's what Keir Starmer is saying that he's going to do. And a little bit, again, a little bit of something is better than a whole heap of nothing. So let's see what Nigel says to this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, this is his PMQs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We at Reform, a party that is alive and kicking, very much enjoyed your speech on Monday. You seem to be learning a very great deal from us.
Right, learning a very great deal from them rather than saying it's good that you're putting the people of this country first. That's what he could have said, but no, he brought it to him and Reform.
Can I encourage you, please, to go further as a matter of national security? As a matter of national security. Over the weekend, an illegal immigrant from Iran, who we believe came by boat, was arrested in the north of England on serious charges of terrorism. Since the speech on Monday, 1,000 young, undocumented young males have crossed the English Channel. Does the Prime Minister agree? Now is the time to declare the situation in the English Channel as a national security emergency.
Yeah. So that's his question. His question was, it could have been, thank you for taking the approach that's going to put the British people first. And what about the people in the hotel who are young, undocumented people? We can see one Iran, that is whatever. You know, there's different ways of putting it, but he made it to be a reform first process, and that's what he does a lot. He puts his ego way before the party. Like Rupert Lowe said, he's not a leader. He's more of a viper. He's more of a snake. He's that type of person in politics that he's only going to put out himself. He's only going to do the policies that are going to affect Nigel Farage. And how do I know that, people? How do I know that? Because then we're going to have Farage on ITV. This is what his interview was.
Nigel Farage, what's not to like? A ban on new care workers from overseas, only allowing skilled workers who have degrees to come over here, increasing the English language requirements, a doubling of the time before you can get permanent settlement. Are you cheering?
Well, rhetorically, of course, you know, he said things today that I've been calling for over 20 years.
Right. Again, the question was asked, and his first thing he's saying is something that he's been calling for the last 20 years. No one else in Parliament, no one else in smaller parties, no one else that are on the alternative media side. It's what he has been saying for the last 20 years. Again, a reform and a Nigel Farage ego policy first.
The question is, does he actually mean it, and why now?
I'm sorry, my question is, are you going to vote for this stuff?
No, I don't think I am at all. I'll tell you why.
Right. Before he says why, he's not going to vote for any of it. Again, it's good to say, I will vote for it, but I will make sure that he doesn't disappoint on his promises, who he goes through and exceeds what he says. That's what the British people want. That's what reform will do. And every single failure you do, Prime Minister, we are going to make sure that the whole country understands and sees it. And we'll show why reform is the best people to do the job. He could have said that. You can go and support the Prime Minister on certain things whilst holding him to account. But no, Nigel Farage isn't doing that because it's all about him.
Because, you know, he's got in there, oh, we'll try and amend the interpretation of the ECHR, which is frankly fiddling around the edges.
So show the people exactly where he's fiddling around the edges, where he is not going forward with the ECHR and the failings of the Labour Party. But you have to still vote for the original thing to allow him to go through for all of this.
I've looked at the student changes. They're going to make almost no difference whatsoever.
Show how a reform government will make the difference, will stop the 330,000 student visas that are coming, that will be increasing over the next 2 to 3 years. Show them.
And I don't believe that a government like this, that with him at the helm, who, let's face it, has campaigned for free movement of people for nearly the entirety of his political career, I don't believe he'll enforce any of it.
And you, Nigel Farage, for the whole of your political career, have campaigned on a Brexit policy. Yet I don't see you saying anything now about how Brexit has failed not because of we Brexited, not because we took the historic decision to leave the shackles of the European Union. No, because it hasn't been implemented properly. We have Rupert Lowe, we have Ben Habib, all the time talking about the way that the policies have ruined the fact that we could have had a successful Brexit. That's you, Nigel. You've been campaigning for that for your whole political career. What are you doing now? So you can't really be saying that to Keir Starmer when you do the exact same thing. Again, it's posturing. You just want people to see what you're saying now and not hold your feet to the fire, not hold you to account for the things you said in the past. Well, sorry, this is what we are doing. We're going to make sure that this happens because, yes, I would prefer everyone to vote for UKIP. That's the people and the party that's going to make sure that the country is successful again, is great again, is how it used to be. But anyway.
I just wonder whether the good is the enemy of the perfect here. There is stuff that you would support if it did what it said on the tin. Take the ban on new care workers from overseas. That will cause some kind of upset, is causing some upset in the care sector. Is that something you back?
The only reason that this press conference happened today is because of blind panic over what reform did to the Labour vote in parts of England on the 1st of May.
Again, not answering the question, not answering the interviewer and saying about what reform did on the 1st of May. Okay, cool. You did good. You took many seats, many councils, not as much as the Lib Dems, not as much as other people that you'd like to say, but you did good. Really, really well. May the 1st has gone. Now we're looking for the future. What is reform doing for the future? That's what you need to be telling the people. You need to be saying why you're going to be the Prime Minister that is going to get this country back on track. But you're not.
That's the only reason he's doing it, and I do not believe he's got the will to carry any of this out.
Accepting your victory lap, but nevertheless returning to my question, would you vote for a ban on new care workers from overseas? Is that something?
Well, let's see if this comes in the form of firm legislation. Let's see what's actually going to be presented.
So you might back some of it?
Well, we'll see. If it was stuff that did actually bind the government, there might be amendments on this that you would support. But I'm not convinced.
So, again, he's going to be saying that before he's seen it and before he's done anything. He's just not going to support it because it's not what he wants to put through. He hasn't got the amendments or the backdoors that Zia Yusuf wants to be put into there. So he's not going to back it. It's crazy.
It's easier to oppose everything the government does on immigration politically, isn't it? Just say no to it, or pick holes and see if they're real.
That's what the Conservatives do. I mean, how the Conservatives are today criticising the government's record on immigration and asylum, and I mean, frankly, they should be in hiding after what they did during their 14 years. We will look at what comes forward in legislative terms, yes, but frankly, this is just a knee-jerk reaction to reform. There's no sincerity in it at all. It is, and on most things,
if it's in the right direction, why won't you back it?
Because it's fiddling around the edges. It's fiddling around the edges. I see no evidence here that there won't be vast numbers of people who come as students and then overstay or claim asylum or do what else. And because
just to come back to the care workers.
But you're going to be doing what you can see. You're going to be voting on what you see on that paper. You're not going to be voting for something, that you has a backdoor in it. That's clear. But what do you want to do, Nigel? How do you want to stop the mass immigration coming in? How do you want to stop the population increasing by vast amounts every single census? How are you going to be stopping that? Because it's okay for you to say that you're not going to do something because it has all these involved in it. But again, a little bit of something, have a little bit of new legislation. So even the House of Lords understands that this is the way we are going. We are going to be amending these things. We are going to be putting more laws on top of the basic that we've got. Because that's how we're going to do it going forward. So get them into thinking this is what we're going to be doing, because they're going to be part of it as well. So if they don't understand the direction that the country is going to be going, where we are going to be going for tens of thousands immigrations, tens of thousands of people coming here for education, and that should be it. You shouldn't be having 300,000 for education. You shouldn't be having 750,000 people coming and going as they like. This shouldn't be happening in the country. We should be here and making sure our own is doing well. But Nigel's got a different opinion on that.
Thing which strikes me as the biggest central thing in this proposal by the Prime Minister. If it is a ban on new care workers coming from overseas, would you support that?
The principle, yes.
Now, I want to understand how you would deal with legal migration, because I'm just looking through your manifesto. I've just got some of the questions that just flow from Reform UK's proposal. Because as you say, you think that you are setting the political tone. So I just want to understand how it would all work. One of your big proposals in the election campaign was a freeze on non-essential immigration, but you do say that there is an exception, which is essential skills. Now, you've just been criticising the government for tinkering around the edges and fudging things. Having an essential skills kind of carve out from your
not a carve out, a backdoor.
Impressive sounding, if you like, low migration, freeze on non-essential immigration. That feels like quite a big caveat.
So let's take engineering, for argument's sake. We don't train enough engineers. We just don't. It's crazy. We've been pushing young people to doing social sciences degrees or whatever it is. So you're an engineering company, you need somebody to come in on skills. If they come in on a time-dependent work permit, right? If all the right health insurances and levies have been paid, and if at the end of that period of time you leave or you're forced to leave, then it works. That is not what has been happening over the course of the last few years, and it's truly astonishing that vast numbers of people have come to Britain from overseas over the last few years and do not work.
So that is contradicting what he's been saying. If you come here as an engineer, we're going to make sure you go back. If you come here for 4 years on this engineering visa, we're going to make sure you go back. Yes, in principle, that's okay. But in certain sectors, you're going to be, you can't work out, because you're not going to do that with the NHS. So what are you doing with the NHS? But Keir Starmer's already said that his policies would be to make sure more people in engineering are getting apprenticeships. So this is where they are arguing over the same thing, but just using different aspects of it, rather than saying, okay, cool, we're going to, Starmer said this, that's fine. We're going to go and do X, Y, and Z. it's going to make it tighter. It's going to make it better. But they're not. They're essentially arguing over the same thing. But what he's saying is, what we're doing at the moment is many people are coming here on an engineering bit and are not working. So he should be now talking about mass deportations. What reform will be doing about mass deportations? And I know he's going to say about he's going to kick in the back doors of people who overstay, but he needs to be saying, listen, our policy is this. We're going to be introducing more apprenticeships and more stuff for British people. We're going to make sure that there's a huge influx of great British talent, those who will be wasted getting indoctrinated down the Marxist education system through universities. We're going to make sure that these people are incentivized to do these types of apprenticeships. They're not going to be on low wages. They're going to be on a decent wage to do the apprenticeship, to make sure that they carry on through, so we have great engineers who are coming. And the people at the top, the older people who are about to retire, they are going to be mentors. So you've got the top coming to the bottom and the bottom raising up to the top. And in the middle, you've got a whole lot of great engineers who are learning as they go, rather than bringing in a whole lot of people from India who have a different mindset, who have a different way of going forward with the engineering. Because this is the thing. Why are we getting people from overseas to teach or to come and help us when we was the one who started the Industrial Revolution? We was the ones who invented many of these things that we're using now. So it's like the student is teaching the teacher. It's not how it goes. We need to do more. We need to do better for Britain.
And this is where family reunion has been going wrong. This is where overstaying has been going
Before you
wrong.
take us down on a diversion, essential skills, your carve out from the ban on non-essential immigration, you say that exemption is mainly around healthcare.
The problem with all of this...
That sounds awfully like an exemption, maybe.
We have
even
not
for
been
some
training...
sections. But is it that we're not getting enough social care?
We have not
people
been
in,
training enough nurses and doctors, deliberately not been training enough nurses and doctors, as we've made ourselves dependent on those that come from overseas. And we con ourselves that the NHS can't operate without foreign doctors and nurses, completely turning a blind eye to the fact that 7.2 million foreign-born people have registered with GPs in the last 11 years. And where this whole debate goes wrong is everyone focuses on work, work, work. Most people that have come in the last few years are not working.
I'm just trying to understand.
Here we go. Everyone's focusing on work, work, work. The skilled visas that both Starmer and Nigel, you're going to put forward. That's what you've just said. Everyone's concentrating on it, but we need to concentrate not on that, because that will show you that reform is exactly the same as the Tories and exactly the same as Labour. Let's focus on those that are not working. Well, those who are not working, who haven't got a job, who can't work, or for whatever reasons, they need to be audited themselves. But if we're still using those coming in to do these jobs, these working or not working, we have no chance of upskilling them. We've got no chance of putting them through a training program, or they might be able to work anyway. And those who are coming in who are not working, they shouldn't be here anyway. So let's not concentrate on those who are not working specifically. Let's concentrate on what you are doing to stop the innovations, the UK people, the British people, to be able to work in these industries. Let's focus on that. And then we can see, hang on a minute, immigration is part of that. So we have to speak about both of them at the same time. We're going to lower the immigration to the healthcare, but what we're going to do is we're going to incentivize those children and those people who are in the healthcare roles at the moment, or those who want to leave school and become midwives, junior doctors, X, Y, and Z. We're going to go through them. There is going to be a point in time when, this is a few years, or, there might be 5 years. It might be quite a large time where we do heavily need this immigration. So, of course, we need to bring that in. What Nigel said before about kicking them out after 4 years is going to be acceptable in that way. But first, we need to understand how many people we've got here who can work under these job titles who want to work under these job titles, and those we need to immediately remove from the country to make way for the British people who do. It's no, if you want to be a nurse, a midwife, and you're 21 years old, to say, and you're spending £1,000 on your rent, no. So we need to say this social housing here is available because we have deported the people that were living in it, who had no right to be living in it, had no right to be living in this country, not working. So we've removed a whole lot of, we've removed 20,000 of them. We've got this stock now. Let's give it to the NHS people who are working, who are in the apprenticeships, who are going to be beneficial, not now, but in the future. Because that's what people have got to look at. Yes, we can make a huge loss now, but that huge loss now will be great for the future. Imagine a nurse. She can live in a cheap house. She can only pay £300 a month. People are going to be like, oh, I want a bit of that. Well, become a nurse then. Then you can have that. You can have these rent deductions. This is what we need to start doing for us, the people.
What your exemption for people who have
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. Most people that come to Britain as immigrants don't work at all.
Forgive me, I'm just trying to understand what your proposal is.
You're dealing with
your manifesto from the last election.
And you're doing what all the media do.
So right about now, you just wanted a little soundbite there. And the interviewer giving it to him. So fair play to the interviewer. He's basing it on a fact. You answer your fact. It's your manifesto. I've got no problem with that. It's not really doing a James O'Brien walking him down the wrong path or whatever. Answer the question of your manifesto.
You're assuming that everyone that comes in works. Most don't.
No,
Most don't. A lot of them don't because we've got a weak system and we've got a huge benefit system. But are you talking about the illegals or are you talking about those who are on the visas? Because those on the visas have to work in them industries anyway. So we've got a good 300,000 people who are working on a visa. Obviously, the ones in education, a lot of them do abscond, but they generally don't work because that's the requirements of the visa. And then we've got those that are illegal who need to be deported immediately because they do not work at all. So who are you talking about? Because you need to be very specific, because at the moment it's very easy for you to lose your credibility because you're not answering that question and then you're coming back with a random thing. Most immigrants come here, don't work. That's not the question. It should be too many immigrants are coming here in the first place, and our benefit system is allowing these people not to work. But what do I know?
Just trying to understand how wide your exemption for people who are essentially who have essential skills mainly around healthcare is. Can you give any more flesh to the bones on that?
Well, hopefully we'll be training enough nurses and doctors not to need anybody from overseas
so why put that
within
in
the space of a few years.
So however,
we should be ashamed of ourselves taking nurses from countries like Mali.
But how many? How big could this be? I mean, exemptions have been put into immigration law in plans in the past in order to carve out. Sounds like you're just the same as everybody else.
Work permits should be separate to immigration. If you get a job for an American TV station,
work permits should be different from immigration. That's how you hide things. Remember, he said he was going. Starmer is going around the houses a little bit. He's not going true with what he's saying. He's not going hard enough. Well, there you go. He's just done the exact same thing. Work permits should be different from immigration. Immigration should be different from asylums. Asylums should be different from illegals. Illegals should be different from those lost at sea who just needed a bit of help and they came here. That should be different from. That's how you hide things. You just put everyone else into a different box and say, listen, it's not this thing that's going up because we've changed it. We've changed the way you're talking, and that's a Marxist thing when you change language or you change the understanding of what a word or a system means. That's a Marxist way. So what have we got to say with Nigel? What can we say?
and you stay 48 hours longer than your work permit, they will smash your front door down, put you in handcuffs and deport you.
He loves America because they do this in many places. It's not just America. Go Thailand, it's the same. Go to Korea, South Korea, North Korea, you're not going to go in. It's going to be exactly the same. Go to Australia, it's going to be the same. Go to Canada, I think Canada is very tight on it. I'm not sure now that it's got Carney in there, but you go to New Zealand, you go to all these places, they are very, very strong on their borders. If you overstay, they know about it, but they also know where you are. They also have the people who go there have a level of respect, and they feel that if you do overstay, then you have no respect for the country. So you need to be treated in the same way as you treat our country, which is 100%. But it's not just America. But again, you want to try and give a perception.
We allow all of these routes, whether it's coming into work, whether it's coming as a student, we have allowed all of these to become routes to long-term migration.
Will you put a cap on the number of people who can come in under your essential skills exemption, particularly in healthcare, for people who come in the country?
By the time of the next election, we will. I can't.
There we go. So he will put a cap on it. So what he said there is the same as a net zero. So he's saying he's going to be allowing in a lot of people, or maybe not a lot. I don't know what's the cap. If you're going to be doing it, it can say it'd be roughly about 10 to 15,000, but he doesn't do it. We're still waiting for the Department of Deportation. Zia Yusuf said that he was going to be doing that after the May the 1st. It's after May the 1st. I'm still looking for the democratization of the party. I'm still looking for a lot of things that Reform are saying and doing, or have said and have done, but nothing comes through. But let's just finish it with this, because this here shows the contempt of Nigel Farage, I believe, because at the end of here, when he's laughing, I believe he's laughing at you, and he's laughing at us.
The situation is serious. The last government lost control of the borders. We are taking powers. The Borders Bill, precisely to his point, the Borders Bill is the first bill to give terrorism-like powers to law enforcement, precisely so that we can get in before the crimes are committed, before people get to this country. That's right. This is the most far-reaching provision ever for law enforcement to defend and secure our borders. And that's why it is extraordinary that he, of all people, voted against it. And sooner or later he's going to have to explain it.
See, he's laughing when he knows that he voted against the bill. He voted against the bill for it. So all of them, every single one of these people are the same.
Nigel Farage, what's not to like?
They're all the same. Every single one of these people are the same, and that's what we've got to make sure. We've got to make sure that we hold those to, we hold them accountable. All these people are never accountable. Not one of these people are accountable. So we've got to make sure that we do hold them in the same contempt as they say to us. And let's finish this now on the theme tune that we have.
Sing it like you mean it.
To sing loud and proud.
Louder, please. One more time. Fuck that count. Louder. Keir Starmer's a white girl. Video right now.
So he's not just going over to Joe Biden. When you get these types of songs against you, you know that your time is coming up. But anyway, people, that's all I've got to do. Remember, when these politicians talk to you, find the timeline, and you understand that the timeline is always off, and they're always just saying one thing one day and exactly the opposite the next day. And that is why we never trust any of them. But anyway, until later on, I'll speak to you soon.